We are here, we're back at it. And because it's September, there's kind of a ramp up of energy. We are talking about ways into the industry. And today is all about that connection piece, right? Everywhere you turn, you'll hear it's all about who you know, or your network is your net worth. Actually, that one is more for business now that I think about it. But this is a business. So the truth is, it's not just about who you know, but what kind of relationship do you have with them? And this industry is built on relationships. So we're going to talk about it, and we're going to talk about how to go beyond networking to building meaningful connections, real relationships for the long haul, even if you are a shy introvert. So let's dive into it. Let me introduce myself. My name is Kristen Iris Johnson. If you don't know me, I am a showrunner, film producer, screenwriter, and the CEO of Black Screenwriter Alliance, where we are here on this channel and also bring together emerging Black film and TV writers who are serious about growing a career in the industry so that you can elevate your writing portfolios, build confidently build industry relationships, and learn to forge your own path in the industry as a Black creator, but with allies, because we are all about connection, support, and community, which makes this topic very fitting today because we are talking about connection. So make sure you like and subscribe and enjoy this conversation. If you are alive with us, then go ahead and pop in the comments with questions as we go as well. Okay, so yes, we always hear a lot of things about connection, relationships. This industry is built on relationships, and that is true, right? Um, Relationships are immensely important in this industry. Why? Couple of reasons. One, I'll start from the creative perspective because we're creatives. From the creative perspective, people like to, when you are doing your creative work, right? Your creative work it's important to you, you're passionate about it, but you want to work with people that you know, you want to work with people that you can trust. And people that you can trust to show up, people that you can trust their abilities. So we tend to, as we are bringing teams together, is pull together people that we know or get recommendations from other people for who they trust and who they know and who they like and who they think would be a good fit. So that is part of why connection is important. The other thing is, from a business perspective, this is a $1 trillion industry, I'm pretty sure, and there's a lot of money on the line. It costs a lot of money to do these projects, and spending a lot of money comes with a high amount of risk, right? And so if you know that you are in an industry and you know that you're in work that has a high amount of risk, you want to make sure that you are putting together the team and that you are working with people, again, that you can trust, people that you know will show up, that they will deliver, that they will bring their best work. And if you don't know that person, you look for recommendations from other people. Um, Not saying that people don't hire in other avenues, but a lot of people get jobs in this industry because of the people that they are connected to. They get recommended or they recommend other people. So, from a business standpoint, that is also important. Does that mean that you only work with people that you like and trust? I mean, I wish that would be great, but that's not the case. But this is why relationships are so important. So when you are going into, you got to think when a producer, I use producers because producers, writers, directors, they tend to be on projects for a very long amount of time, right? They're the people that are there the longest. When you are a producer, and I'll say this as a producer, and you know you're going to be working on a project for like the next year, 2 years, 3 years, I think on average it's 7 years. You don't want to work with people that you don't like. It makes it a really unpleasant experience. And you don't want to work with people you don't trust because you don't want to get screwed over. That's also a really unpleasant experience. So, I mean, I've definitely worked with people that I don't like or that I don't trust. You know, like I said, it happens. But when you think about it from that producer standpoint, mitigating the risk is something that goes into what we do, and we do that by getting recommendations, by talking to different people, getting referrals, and also vetting people, like Shonda Rhimes for Scandal, and this was talked about on the podcast. I believe it's called Unpacking the Toolkit, which is a rewatch podcast. Love Scandal. Um, it was, I believe it was her, unless it was somebody else in the writers' room, but I believe it was Shonda when she was a guest early on in that episode. She said that they had a no asshole policy on that production, and so everybody, all of the cast members that they cast, they would her rule was they had to get 2 referrals from people who were like, yeah, they're good to go, like loved working with them. They did not, if they were going to cast someone, as part of like that main cast, and they were not getting that from the referrals from the people that they were talking to about this person, they weren't going to cast them, because she wanted to create a certain kind of environment and a working environment for the set and for the cast. And that's something, um man, that's something that's powerful. And I'm not saying everybody does that, but there's an example of why it is important, like who you are, how you work, and how people relate to you and refer to you, what people um will refer, like people who will refer and recommend you, can be really powerful in helping you get in a door, um or staying out of a door. So these are part of the reasons why those connections are so important. Connections also, speaking now back in the creative screenwriting standpoint, not as a producer, a lot of times connections can get you work, right? So when we were doing season 3 of Wicked City, it was season 3 in particular, we were hitting a dead end when it came to the development. There were things in the outline that like the network didn't want, that we had to like completely revamp. And so when we came to, okay, we need other brains, we need other people. We have been in this for 21 hours a day for, like a week or two. We knew we needed fresh perspective. I did not go and like post on LinkedIn for a writer. I went to people that I knew that were writers, that I could trust their their understanding of the genre. I could trust their understanding of character. I could trust their understanding of story. And I could also trust the way that they operate, the way they show up in a collaborative way, and in a here's an idea, here, oh, you don't like that idea, here's an idea. I was looking for people that had certain abilities when it came to the writing, when it came to understanding story, and also people that I knew I'd be able to trust in a room. And we didn't have a lot of time. Like I said, I didn't have time to go vetting other people and reading samples and interviewing and all of that. It was like, hey, I need these people now. These are the people that I trust. These are the people that I know I can bring in, that are going to help and be of service to the story. And those are the people that we hired. So that is because I knew them, right? And so if there is an opportunity, very often I will look first to like, who are the people that I know that might be a good fit for this opportunity, before I start looking outside, right? Because I already know people. So who do I know that might be good for this opportunity? That is how a lot of people in this industry think, is, oh, I know this person, they'd be good for this. Oh, you know what? I talked to this person, they'd be good for this. Or even if it's not someone who is like a friend, it might be like, I knew a guy back when, let me go hit them up. So the kind of instinct often is to go to who do we know first and bring those people into opportunities, which is why community and connection is so important. This is one of the things that we talk a lot about in Black Screenwriter Alliance. We're actually talking all about ways into the industry this month in our community. So you can come and check us out. You can try it free for 7 days, blackscreenwriteralliance.mn.co, where you will be able to connect with other writers. And like I said, this is something that can open up opportunities for you, just by building those relationships. But again, it's not transactional. These are people, like I went to people that I knew, people I had a relationship with, people I was friends with, to say, oh, this person would be good. Hey, are you interested? I'd really love to have you in this writer's room, right? That's from relationship. That's not from something transactional. It's not from us just like passing each other some. I mean, sometimes it does happen where you just like connect with someone randomly and then later on you're like, oh, like we had a really good vibe in that combo, and it turns out they're perfect for, whatever this opportunity is. But the real idea that I'm coming at is this is about building real connections and friendships, not just about trying to hustle and get ahead. So here, I just want to give a breakdown, like super simple types of relationships that you have. First one I just mentioned, other writers. Other They could be Black writers, could be other writers that are at or near your level, which is, for example, one of the things that you get in Black Screenwriter Alliance. We are a community of emerging Black film and TV writers. So other writers at your level are actually really great. So I have two writing groups, right? Two separate groups of writers. I don't know why they're separate, but they just are two separate groups of writers that I go to for different things. So if I have a script and I've gotten it as good as I think I can get it right now, but I really need that outside feedback, these are the people that I go to. These are part of my support. These are the people that I can trust their feedback. Those are the people that I would go to. I mean, depending on the project, I'd probably go to different people within those groups, but those are the people that I go to for support. Those are the people for feedback. Those are the people that I also go to when I'm about to talk myself out of an opportunity because I'm afraid, or I feel like, oh no, what if I can't deliver? Oh no, what if I screw it up and I'm getting in my own way? And those are the people that are like, shut up and stop talking yourself out of this. Really look at this opportunity. Remember how awesome you actually are. Remember, these are all the things that you have done, that you have shown you are capable of. Stay rooted in that and move forward, right? Those are the people that check me when I get in my way. So these people are super important because they create your close group, right? These are people that are your peers that will help you to do your best, be your best, achieve your best, and will be your allies as you continue in the industry. Other types of relationships, very, very close to this, is other creators at your level. So it may not be writers, it might be directors, it might be a DP, other people in and also not necessarily in the industry. They might be creators in other way. These are actually, even if they're not directly in the industry, these can still be good relationships that you want to build. Um, for example, I don't know why this example just popped in my head. Someone who is, let's say there's someone who is in um, like marketing in some way. And I mean more like if they're in like social media marketing, or if they're in PR, but maybe they're not specifically in entertainment, but they're doing some kind of marketing work. That might end up being when you are sitting here trying to figure out how are you going to market your indie film in an unconventional way so that you can really make get more of a following, a bigger bang, like really draw people in. That might be someone that you end up bringing in that you're like, hey, we need ideas that are unconventional and outside the box. We've got the traditional routes, we need some untraditional routes. And that might be a great person to source from because they do that. Right. So other kinds of creators, creatives, other people in other positions in the industry or that are aspiring to be in the industry, and also um in other industries as well that are, might be adjacent. These are still relationships that can be really, really beneficial that you want to continue to build and cultivate and nurture. And then there is kind of like the obvious producers, execs, managers, reps. If you have a manager, definitely nurture your relationship with your reps. If you have one, if you don't, that's totally cool because some of these other relationships might lead you to a rep. So yes, producers, executives, those are also or creatives, I should say, or also creatives that are above your level, like directors that are at a higher level, or writers that are at a higher level if you are able to connect with them. Those may not be the same kind of like friend peer relationships. They might, but they may not be, but those are still relationships from a business aspect that you can still that you can still cultivate and that you can still develop and grow, because those are also relationships that will those will end up being people that you go to. They might come to you with things, and you get to, as either of you moves up or has opportunities in the industry, when you have those relationships again, those people tend to bring people with them that they like, that they trust, and that they want to continue working with. So, producers, execs, and then honestly, if you are ever on set or on a production, like anybody on that production that you vibe with, like if it's somebody you really don't vibe with, then maybe don't cultivate that relationship. Like if someone's like, you guys really butt heads, don't stress yourself trying to be friends. Like don't be fake friends with people. But the people that you work with or that you meet on productions, those are also relationships, and those are powerful and important relationships because they are working in the industry. So definitely connect with people. Like I don't care if you're a PA, I don't care if your job is picking up trash, connect with people on those productions, be of service. um be useful, have a good attitude, make things easier for people, make things so smoother for people, but also, like be a person and make the connection with people, and let those connections develop. Like again, it's not about how can I get something from you, and it's definitely not about being fake. This is all about authenticity. It is about being genuine. It is about being yourself and building relationships the way you build your friendships. So the last group of people I want to mention is also literally just everyday people that you know. Like people, you may know more people than you actually think. And I'll actually talk a little bit more about that, connecting with those people, but like literally just everyday people in your life, cultivate those relationships. So when it comes to building relationships, building meaningful relationships, right? And building like real genuine connections and friendships with people in slash out of the industry. Couple of don'ts. One, don't be transactional. Don't be like, I'm going to do this for you and I expect you to do this for me. Or, hey, can you go do this for me? Which brings me to the second one. Don't ask people for services that you should be paying for, right? When people reach out to me and they're like, hey, can you read my script and give me feedback? Sure, here is my list of prices, because that's a service, right? So if I don't know you and you're just some random person, you're not like pitching it to me like, hey, we're looking for a showrunner, or we have a show and we want to bring another writer on board, we think you'd be great, here's the topic, let us know what you think, I can send the pilot. If that's not the message, and the message is like, hey, can you're great, can you give me feedback, can you read my whole script and give me feedback, that's a service. And here's my price list for that, because I don't like it. It's nonsensical to think that with all the people that reach out to me, that I could just give feedback left and right, that I'm going to sit there, read all your material and just give you feedback and not even know who you are. Okay. So, you know, be mindful of what you're actually asking people, and is that reasonable? So don't ask people for services that you should be paying for. Also, don't send material unsolicited. Okay, some people do this. This one's kind of like some people do this, and some people are like, yeah, I'll take unsolicited material. By and large, most people will not take a script if you just send them a script. Like it's one thing if you are saying, hey, I've got this project, I think it's right up your alley, because you've done this before, and I thought that was such a great, film or TV show or whatever it is. Here's my project, and you give them like a log line or a short synopsis. Would you like to see, I have a script or a pitch deck available if you'd like to see it. That's different, because you're telling them a little bit about your project, and you are inviting them to ask for more if they want to see more. That is different than first contact dropping your unsolicited script into the email and sending it over to them. What Here's the danger with that. there's a legal danger there. So there are a lot of production companies, producers, um, networks, studios, if you happen to have contact with those entities, that if they get something unsolicited, they will immediately delete it and not respond. Because what happens is, if they have something in the works that is like similar subject matter, they cannot read and take your unsolicited script, because later on you could come back and be like, oh, you got this from my idea, and then try to sue when they already had something in the works. This is why you ask them first. And we'll get to that in the do's, I guess. But this is why you have to ask first and let people know what your project is, and then invite them. Hey, if this is interesting, let me know. I would love to send you the pilot. I would love to send you the script. I would love to send you whatever material it is that you have. If you skip that step, a lot of times people will just delete it, because that protects them legally, because there is no proof that it landed in their inbox. I'm just going to give you guys the real. If they're like, "Ooh, I can't even respond to this because then I'm acknowledging that I received this," they will just straight delete it, because they don't want to have the legal headache. So that is why you don't. That is why I recommend that, unless you already have a relationship with this person, like a good relationship, and you're regularly communicating, I would recommend not sending on unsolicited material. And honestly, if you do know that person, you have a good relationship, I would still ask them first, because they might be really busy. They may not even have the space, and now you've put this extra pressure on them. So it is not advisable to send unsolicited material. There are some people who will read it. I don't know who those people are, because I won't. I do not take unsolicited material. If somebody sends me something, just straight script, and we haven't had an introduction, haven't talked to us, they have not asked me if I actually want to read it, I'm either deleting it, or I'm letting them know, hey, I don't accept unsolicited material, and then I leave it at that, because it's a little presumptuous as well. But from a legal standpoint, I'm trying to protect myself as well. So, yes, just don't send unsolicited material. Now, in the vein of that, don't rush by skipping steps. Like, the step to sending your material would be to ask first, right? But even beyond the I'm pitching you a project, relationship, think about connecting as building relationship, building friendships. And building relationships takes time, and it takes intention, and it takes attention. And the reason that takes time is because building trust takes time and intention. And trust is what is required to have genuine friendships with people that you want to continue working with, right? So don't rush through steps. Think of this as, how can I build relationships? So I'm going to talk about the do's. I got to the don'ts. I'm going to talk about the do's. And if you're watching and you have any questions, let me know. So this is going to be a little more in the vein of, again, just relationship building, not I am pitching you a specific project, or I'm reaching out about a specific project. This is really more of like, I am trying to build connection and build relationships with people in the industry. So, one, do look at who you are already connected with and build relationships there. So, if you are in Black Screenwriter Alliance, who are your fellow heroes, which is what we call our members? Who are your fellow members that you have connected with, that you've already built relationship with? Continue building relationships. If you're not in Black Screenwriter Alliance, come and check us out, free for 7 days. blackscreenwriteralliance.mn.co. Got a workshop going on next Thursday, on an interactive workshop on ways into the industry and leveraging the skills, the connections, and the experiences that you already have, and how you might be able to do that. So look at who you already know. That means, if you're in Black Screenwriter Alliance, people in the community, people that might be from your school, whether you're in school or not, maybe people you knew when you were in school, work, unless you hate everybody at work. If you're on a team, right? Like, who are the people on your teams? If you play a sport or you have some other activity, faith groups are also a place where you never know who is in these spaces, right? And what they like to do, because you're in those spaces and you like to write movies or TV series. So these communities and these spaces that you're already in are a great place to just get to know people better and see like, oh, who's doing what. You never know what kind of connections people may have. Um, and building relationships with people that you are already connected with can also connect you to other people as well. Even if they're not in the industry, they might be like, oh yeah, like my best friend's dad's uncle works with Steven Spielberg. I mean, that'd be kind of cool. But so the other thing is, do approach people with a mindset of friendship, not a mindset of please do me a favor. Okay, nobody owes you anything, especially in this industry. So when you approach people and build and want to build connection from a mindset of I want to build like a friendship, or like I want to get to know this person and maybe see if we can have a friendship, that allows you to come to the person and that dynamic from a different mindset than, oh, I have to network, which means that I have to try and show up as a certain version of a person I think they may want, and then you know, present myself in a certain way so that they like me. Like, it's not about that. Real relationships are about being you, who you really are, and about allowing them to be who they really are. That's real friendship, right? That's real connection. So if you're going to build genuine connections, it means showing up authentically as you are, not as who you think they're going to want you to be, and coming to it from a place of friendship. And I'm going to say that, which is my next point, is like service, and not from a place of I'm trying to show up this way because I want to get something from you, right? That's transactional. Transactional is not where you build real relationships. That's where you build transactions. And a lot of times those transactions lack trust because you're coming to it from that place. So approaching with a mindset of friendship. Um, with that in mind, start conversations, get to know people, right? You can reach out to people on social media, you can connect with people in different ways in person if you're going to in person events. Start real conversations. I hate to say it, but like everybody love a compliment. A compliment could be a great way, especially if you're at an in-person event, to just kind of like break the ice, right? So when I was at the GLAD Awards in March, because Wicked City was nominated, there was a like pre-party, and then there was also a like an after party. And in both of them, I'm like a very shy person. You may not know it from these live streams, but I'm a very shy person. So when I was there, I was kind of like, well, I'm not really sure, like, how do I approach people? And sometimes I'm just like, hey, I'm a big fan. Can I get a picture? Like, I'm not gonna lie, I definitely did that with a couple of people. But sometimes just like, oh my gosh, you're like, your outfit looks amazing. Like, you look so good. Oh, what are you here for? And then you can start that conversation. If you're at an event, like an industry event, there's tons of them in LA. There's some in New York, in Atlanta. If you're in one of those hubs, that is a great place to go and meet people and make connections and build relationships. But like, a compliment goes a long way, even just as an icebreaker, because you're starting off by making somebody feel good. Um, Also congratulating people, if there's somebody that you admire and they just had like a big win, congratulating them, like that makes people feel good, and it makes people feel seen. And a lot of us, especially as Black people in this industry, a lot of times we don't feel seen. So that can also be a great way to start a conversation and sort of open the door. Sharing how their work has impacted you. Again, this kind of goes in the realm of compliments, but this is actually a powerful way of like kind of starting things off, because you are letting them know that their work matters. And whether it is like you are sharing how their work impacted you, or how them, and maybe they have a certain identity. Like I reach out to someone and I was like, hey, I heard you on this podcast, and you said that you're autistic, and that is such a powerful thing for me to say because I'm autistic too, and we need to see more people like us out there. And I'm able to, I mean, this is not like verbatim what I said, but that was one of the things that I brought up, is like, that was so powerful for me to hear that you're autistic too, and this is what you've been able to do. So, those are good ways of like entry points that are genuine. Like, don't lie, be honest. How has this person impacted you? What about them stands out to you? Like, how is their work? Or something that they said or did. Like, these are things that are good starting points where you can potentially build. If a conversation sparks up, that's something that you can build. Ooh, speaking of being at in-person events, um, do exchange contact info with people that you can connect with if they are open to it. Um, that can that is that's gold. Okay, like actually getting someone's contact information is gold, because once you have their contact information, you can continue to nurture and build the relationship, right? But again, relationship building takes time. It's not, oh, I got your contact info at this event and now I'm immediately pitching you or sending you unsolicited material. That is bad protocol. Don't do that. But if you have a great conversation and you're like, oh, I'd love to continue this, here's my contact information, and then you follow up, then you are building a relationship, right? Just like you meet somebody, you're like, oh, that person was cool, yeah, give me your number, I'll hit you up. Friendship building, think of it from that perspective. So at in-person events, it's really great to get people's contact information. Also, I mentioned having a spirit of having like a mindset of friendship instead of favor. Also, have a spirit of service and giving. Especially if there is someone that is like working in the industry, is like, how can I help? How can I be of service? Like, I'd love to, even if you're like, I'd love to work with you. It's how can you be of help and of value to them in a non-exploitative way. But how can you be of service, and how can you show up with a spirit of service and a spirit of, I want to help, not I'm going to help you do this and then you do this for me. Like, that's so childish. Um, but really showing up as like, oh, okay, like, what is it that you need? Or maybe there's some way that I can help you, or something that I can provide, or maybe I know someone. Just offering yourself up in a way that is of service to their production or their project or whatever it is that they need. That that is powerful, because there's so many of us are just like overworked and there's so much to do, and there's all these moving parts, right? And not that everybody who says, oh, how can I be of service, is like the right person. But if someone's like, oh, I would love to work with you, or I'd love to see how I could help, there might be something in there where they're like, oh, you know what, we had a really great conversation about this, like maybe they'd be able to do this. And then now you're entering into a different kind of dynamic with them, where you're actually getting to work with them. You're getting to show up and show your skill and show your value. It may not be in writing, it might be in something else, but you're able to show up and they are actually seeing that and getting to know you better. So you are now in kind of a working relationship. Well, I shouldn't say kind of, because it might actually just be straight up a working relationship, or it might be a collaboration if it's someone that's more of a peer who's doing something. um that allows you guys to enter into kind of a working relationship where you get to see what that dynamic is like, how you can show up, how they show up, how you can continue working together if it doesn't work, like if it's like, ooh, I helped them out and they were like an absolute terrorist, I don't want to work with them again, then like, that's your prerogative. But if things go well, then again, that is the beginnings. That is where you get to continue growing and nurturing that relationship that is now become a working relationship, right? You see how that worked? Friendship, connection, compliments, congratulations, here's how you work, changed my life, etc. Ooh, we're at this event, we exchange contact information. Oh, I'd love to stay connected. building that relationship. Oh, you're working on this. What are you working on? I'd love to be of help. Let me know how I can, help you out with that. And now you're in a working relationship. Does it always happen like that? No, but I'm giving you an idea of what that pathway could look like and how that takes time and nurturing and intentionality in building the relationship that is not based on transaction, but that is based on genuine connection. That is what you want to do. And that is where building meaningful relationships is, it becomes intentional, strengthening, right? Strong relationships without feeling like sleazy or gross. Um, this is where you get to build it in a genuine sense from you as who you are and them being who they are, and you not having to pretend or fake the funk like you're someone you're not, right? Because relationships, well, some relationships are based on fakeness, but that's not what we really want, right? That's not what we're looking for. So the last thing I want to say is you also, especially if you're an introvert or you are shy, you need to get out of your shy bubble and stretch your comfort zone. That means you need to, no one is going to just randomly drop in your email and be like, hey, I heard you're a writer. Ooh, would love to bring you on a project. I don't know anything about you. I've never heard of you. Like, that's not how that works. No one's going to magically show up and be like, oh my God, I think you're such an awesome person. Come work on this project with me. They have to know you, right? Which means you have to put yourself out there. You have to build those connections. You have to build relationships. And that is where opportunities happen. That is where recommendations happen. That is where you might get to recommend somebody else. That is where you start to expand your circle and your connections, your strong connections, so that you can continue moving up, sideways, forward in the industry and continue growing your career in the company of people that you're like, these are awesome people that I like to work with. Okay. Just think about Ryan Coogler. Ryan Coogler works very often with the same people. He's worked with DPs on multiple projects, his composer on multiple projects who he met at USC, he met in school. Another producer, I believe their name is Sev Ohanian. Like they have worked together on many projects because he knows these people. He has a relationship with them. He has a good working relationship with them. They know how to collaborate together, right? Those collaborations and those collaborations came out of relationships that they built. And those relationships are built on being authentic and genuine and trusting each other. That's why they keep doing it movie after movie after movie. So remember that you have to get out of your shy bubble. You have to stretch your comfort zone and start meeting and connecting with other people. And again, do it in a genuine way, do it in an authentic way, and from a place of friendship and service, and not from a place of please do this for me. So that is what I have for you today. Make sure that you check us out in Black Screenwriter Alliance. You can try it free, 7 days, blackscreenwriteralliance.mn.co. This is our community that is all about connecting with other Black film and TV writers. I mean, we do have other learning things. We have a workshop coming up next week on getting into the industry, which is an interactive workshop that will help you actively on the call workshop how you can leverage your skills, your experiences, and your own connections, whatever they are right now, and to help you think outside the box. We have strategy calls. We have co-working calls. We have industry guests come in. We do all kinds of things in there, but all of our events, actually the whole platform itself, which is not on social media, it's on its own platform, is all designed around bringing people together, helping you to meet people and build connections and develop those relationships as you develop yourself as a writer and develop your career. So definitely come check us out. Like I said, blackscreenwriteralliance.mn.co. Try it free for 7 days. And I will see you guys in the next live stream. I don't remember what we're talking about, but I will be back next week. So make sure also actually that you like and subscribe to this channel so that you know when I go live and you can dive into this conversation. All right. I will see you guys in the next live.